Townley must be a very proud father, unbelievable, and he was just telling me about his wrist injury, which I had no idea about, which makes it even more impressive. So you must be delighted that he was able to get the job done and become junior world champion.
Yeah, I think the wrist injury was probably a blessing in disguise when you see the last. So he started riding. So we arrived in Europe. He rode for 3 or 4 days, got injured, and then he didn't ride, I think, for 7 or 8 days. And we thought he'd broken his wrist, but he hadn't. He had bone bruising, and then got back on the bike Tuesday in Lommel, rode a little bit. He was pretty uncomfortable. Rode a little bit Wednesday, and he felt better, and he also rode better. And then Saturday morning, he started off a little rusty, for sure, and then qualifying he did really well. He improved, and then free practice this morning, he improved a lot from qualifying. And I could see that his pace was, like in terms of race pace, would be good, not qualifying pace. Like this morning he did 2:10s, and yeah, I could see that it was going to be good. But for him, starts are really inconsistent. It's not a strength of his, and he just absolutely smashed the first start, and then won that, pretty good. That was a good moto, strong moto. And then Moto 2, he flunked the start a little bit, and I think he started about 10th and got up to 6th by the first lap maybe, and then 5th, 4th, 3rd, got to 2nd, made a mistake, fell to 3rd, and then on the last lap he went down, and the car was able to stay in 3rd. So he said he'd never started his bike, or got up and started his bike so quickly.
And he had two very different motos. In the second moto though, I think he showed how good he was under pressure, because he was in 5th there for maybe half the race, and you were sort of thinking he needs to go now if he's going to do it. But he dug deep and he was able to make the passes and do it in style really to get the junior world title.
Yeah, I wasn't concerned about the passes. I thought that he would just find his speed and continue to improve. He's extremely fit. He's his trainer. So I knew that fitness-wise he had it in him. Everyone was going to suffer in these conditions. So I knew that. But he's solid and calculated. He's extremely calculated, and I knew that he would just slowly move his way forward. And he got to 2nd. I thought that he could get to 2nd, and then he made that one mistake. So, but overall, the second moto was really good.
And seeing a Leoch and seeing a Townley race, it's like going back in time 20 years. What's it feel like for you, seeing the next generation?
Wow, Lucas, he rides fantastic.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think
it's actually impressive to watch him ride. When you came through the mechanics area, he didn't even look like he was trying, like it was the way he rides the bike. He rides really well. So big congratulations to them also, and I think that he'll obviously go a long way.
And Levi, I mean, watching him race, he looks very smooth in control.
Yeah,
he doesn't look. Yeah, I'm glad you said it, not me. But is that something you've tried to drill into him since such a young age? I mean, it almost looks like you when you were. Yeah.
To be calculated, to be calculated, and I've been coaching since I stopped racing in 2016. I've been coaching, and I just tried to install really good habits, technique habits, and not allow the boys to go the wrong direction with their riding technique, because I quickly learned as a coach that what I spent most of my time doing was undoing bad habits. So if you create really good habits, they become a part of just how you do it. It's just like an extension of who you are. So that's what we focus on a lot. I don't focus on the positives. I just point out what can improve. Yeah.
And not just to talk about Levi, the other son. He's very young. Just to qualify, I think is good, and I think he got 12th or something in the second moto.
No,
that's pretty good.
But
he was up there.
He was up there in both motos. He crashed in both motos, unfortunately, and he's bitterly disappointed. But I don't think he understands the enormity of his age and the experience. He wasn't even coming on this trip 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then we decided to come. So firstly, he doesn't have the right correct suspension, which he suffered with a lot, but he doesn't know that, he doesn't understand that. He suffered with that a lot. Because we prepared quite well with Levi, and then you know, just for him to be here in this environment, it's huge at his age. He'd be the youngest, if not the youngest rider out there in that category, so he's got a long way to go, but he's pretty, I can see he's pretty determined to improve from here, but he'll have his time.
What's it like for you being back in this paddock? Obviously, I think you go to Sardinia pretty much every year, or you've been there a few times anyway, and you're here. It must be nice to see, you know, your friends that you've met along the time, like Everts and guys like that.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, I've you know, one of my best mates is Ruben. He came to America with me, and he was probably the catalyst for why we're even here, and so we've been staying with him. It's been great, and certainly caught up with a lot of people, but it's quite busy. Like having two boys racing or riding and racing, it's extremely busy. So I haven't spent a lot of time catching up with people, but when I do it, it's nice to see them.
And obviously, when you were in the GP paddock, a lot has changed. These days, there's a lot more focus on the youth with the EMX classes. What's your thoughts on that? Would you like something like that when you were their age?
You can see how it's raised the standard of the sport, right? If you compare to what, if you just compare, and I shouldn't even get into the subject because people go off on a tangent, but like American amateur scene isn't successful because they haven't, until recently, had the SX Future program, and they need to include a lot more of those moto combines at motocross events to bring their level up, you know, because their youth level, they don't race enough, whereas over here, the 85s and the 125s race so much and across so many varied conditions. But yeah, I'm not biased, I'm just saying what I see, you know. And
whenever Levi gets into 125, it would be nice to see him race EMX 125. Is that something? Yeah, that's what you want? Yeah, it's just such a good category. For the reason I just said, it's great. The standard is very high in speed and the competition, and then obviously all of the conditions that you ride. So you'll get a lot of it. You get a lot of experience from it. And I believe his racing isn't done so far this year. There's talk of maybe Lockett next week, and then he's also going to be doing Matterley, I think, the 85 class there. So still plenty to race for between now and the end of the year.
You'll have to give the bank manager a call first. We plan to race in Lockett. Yeah, we'll just see. We've got a few things that we have to line up to make that work, and then racing in Australia also later in this year, and then most likely in Matterley as well for the YZ Cup. Yeah. And just on MXGP this year, have you been following it closely? No, not really. No. Okay. It's tough. It's you've been well. Just to get your thoughts on Jeffrey Hurlings, Tim Geiser, and Jorge Prado. 3 very different styles, but it's awesome seeing them. I remember you said one thing about Roman before is he makes a lot of mistakes, but quite a lot of small mistakes. But he seems to always make it work. Until he gets injured like this year, but obviously he's still fast. Yeah. The 3 that you spoke about, Tim and Jeffrey and Jorge, they're on another level. Like one part, I always watch the highlights on Monday morning in New Zealand, and the one thing that stood out to me the most was that qualifying race at that new Spanish track, the Prado track. Lugo, yeah. Like the way they were riding was insane. The intensity and the amount of horsepower that a 450 has, and the way that they were able to like apply exiting corners, but it looked like it was just qualifying lap after qualifying lap. And that's one thing that stood out to me. Yeah, I'll go out and say right now, like the fastest motocross riders in the world right now. There's no doubt about that. Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers. An amazing weekend for you. How does it feel to be junior world champion?
Yeah, it's amazing. Didn't think I was going to be racing. About a week ago, I thought I'd broken my wrist, but it was really bad, bruising my bone. Couldn't move it, and then now I'm here, world junior champ. So I feel it's so cool. Travel was 30 hours of travel, furthest country away. So yeah, it was definitely worth it.
I had no idea about the wrist. It certainly did not look like it in your riding. Yeah. How did it feel with the wrist? I mean, were you in any pain? Was it uncomfortable, or did it feel alright?
I think the adrenaline took over and it was just so exciting in the moment. There was so much going on that I forgot about it, so that was good.
And how did you find the track? Deep sand. Yesterday was very deep. Today was still pretty rough though.
Yeah, I liked yesterday quite a lot, but I loved the track. It was a very good track, and shout out to the whole team that did all the track work. They did an amazing job, and it was an awesome event.
And have you raced tracks like this before? Have you got stuff like that at home or not? And do you like challenging bumpy tracks like that?
Yeah, I love it so much. When I walked the track this morning, I was like, oh, they prepped the whole thing, but then it ended up getting rough, so I was happy about that. But back home we don't have much. We have one sand track and it's quite far away, so just adapted when we came over and rode 3 times before this, and yeah, it looked like it worked.
And when did you get over to Europe?
I got over here about 2 weeks ago, but then I got injured, so I only rode 2 times or 3 times.
Okay. And how have you found being, I'm assuming, in the Netherlands? How do you find it? It's probably quite a bit different from home, but obviously your dad's experience, so he can obviously help you.
Yeah, my dad helps me understand some stuff, but I love it over here, so maybe I could see myself here next year in MX if there's an option.
And obviously your 2 motos were quite different. The first one you were second, Erniker crashed, and then you controlled it at the front. Second one, very different in a few battles there.
Yeah.
How were your motos from your perspective?
Yeah, the first one was some of the best. There wasn't much that I could have done better. Just amazing start. I did it to perfection. Then some guy came around the outside and then he crashed trying to push it. The track was very hard where he crashed. And then I was just riding my own race. I was pushing pretty hard, but the French rider behind me was keeping me honest, about 5 seconds behind, but held it there and rode a good race. And then race 2 was a bit different. I let the clutch go a bit too fast, attacked it, and it bogged. And then I was like outside the top 10 and just battled my way through, trying a bit of hard, and I crashed on the last lap trying to pass for second, but the fastest get up I've ever had in my life. I was just straight on my bike and going again, but it looked like it worked. And
I mean, from the first lap of Sakamoto, I could see Leoch was leading. When did you realise that you needed to get into third to be world champion? I'm sure your dad was in the pit boards doing a good job.
Well, I didn't even know. My dad said need P3. I thought I was in 5th, but I was actually in 4th. And so I didn't think I'd won. And I came across the line a little bit angry that I'd crashed and lost the world title. And then I seen world champ and everyone was cheering, and I was like, no way.
Amazing. In terms of for the rest of the season, what are your plans now? Do you stay in Europe much longer, or do you head straight home?
Well, I just got note after I won the world championship that I'm racing the Czech Republic round for the EMX 85, so okay. That'll be pretty wicked in 1 week, and then head home, have a bit of a break from riding and recover, and then we go to Australia for Supercross. That's a great series. And then also I've been invited to go race in Australia, Motocross the Nations for the Yamaha 85 Cup.
Oh, yeah.
So there's an option there to go do that, which would be pretty awesome.
And watching you race, you don't actually look that fast, but you're very smooth, precise. Is that something your dad's drilled into you since you've been very young? It's almost like watching your dad 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, most people wouldn't even think I'd probably qualify when you watch me, but because there's just no movement, no revs, no action, it's just hit my marks and good technique, and that's why it looks slow, but on the stopwatch it works out pretty good.
Exactly. And apart from obviously your dad, what's he like on you? I mean, he's been in your shoes trying to make a name for himself, but at the minute it should probably just be fun. Is he hard on you, or is it up to you if you want to go and ride?
Yeah, well, he just tells me his honest opinion, and that's it. He's best dad I could think of, and helps me a lot with all my racing technique, everything apart. And same with my mum and my family back home. They were up. It's the opposite time at night, so my whole cousins and mum and that, they were watching at 2 a.m. in the morning the race, and we were on the phone to her, and she was just next level happy. So my family's a big part of my success.
And obviously at the minute there's loads of brothers succeeding. You've got the Lawrence brothers, the Coonan brothers, you've got the Latvian Reslis brothers, you've got your brother. What's it like doing this with him and experiencing that for him? And The Townleys are going to be on the block soon, I think.
Yeah, they're coming to get you guys. No, my brother is awesome. He'll win the world title in a couple of years, I think. He's only just turned the age to race, and he was running 12th today, so that's pretty amazing for him, and he learned a lot today with a couple stuff, so it's an awesome experience for him to come and learn and hopefully win the world title in a couple of years.
And next year, you'll probably be on a 125 next year?
Yeah, that's the plan. We'll just see how my growth goes, and it's not a rush to get up the bikes. We'll just take it with my growth, and if I do grow, we'll probably come in EMX when I'm on a 125, and that'll probably be the plan if it's available.
So you definitely want to come and do EMX then?
Yeah, I think the EMX is a great program, and I think I could get a lot out of it if I came and raced.
Great to hear. Thank you very much for your time.